Hey, good evening. We're welcome everyone to the regular board meeting for June 2026. Let me read our vision. Jacksonville North Pulaski School District will be the model district where every learner is valued and empowered to become a successful, contributing member of society. Our mission is that the Jacksonville North Pulaski School District will foster a culture of ownership and accountability through partnerships that create multiple pathways for success. At this time, I'll ask Mr. Moore to call the roll.
Colonel Smith.
Present.
Daniel Gray.
Here.
Ava Coleman.
Here.
Jim Moore here. Ron McDaniel.
Present.
Dina Tony.
Here.
Lauren Martin.
Here.
Laura Walker.
Here.
Everyone here, sir.
All right. At this time, I'd like to ask everyone to stand for a moment of silence, and Mrs. Martin is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Will you join me in the pledge? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, looks like we have quite a few special presentations, so with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Owa.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. McDaniel. Good evening, everyone. We do have several presentations for you, but I think the board and our audience and community will be happy to hear about these. The first with Alpha Best, an after-school program initiative that we're starting initially at Bobby G. Lester Elementary to pilot the program to see how it works, and then our goal is to then go district-wide. We have Dawn Hotsney with Alpha Best and her team, and so we'll welcome them to the podium for the presentation as Mr. Moore sets it up. And board, as they come, I'll share some background. We have received Dr. Walker, her team, myself, several parent inquiries about after school care, something that the district could support because our parents are still working when elementary and pre-K are dismissed, and so we wanted to see how we could support the need, the request of our parents who are working and need additional child care until they complete their work day. So we wanted to you to hear from Alpha Best and see what is possible for us. And ladies, if you could use the mic so our online and our audience can hear.
Okay. Can I take it off here?
Yes, you can.
There we go. Good evening. My name is Judy Nee. I'm the CEO of Alpha Best Education. And with me tonight, I have, do I go enter, Dawn, or?
No,
Oh. With me, I have Dawn Hosney, who is our Chief Development Officer. And also with us is one of our stars out in the field, actually one of our district managers, Jill Clyburn. So we're going to quickly go through some slides tonight to tell you a little bit about ourselves and what we could do here in your district. So why Alpha Best? Alpha Best was formed about 20 years ago. We started with a program in Texas in the Dallas area and went over in Maryland on the East Coast and have grown significantly since then. We were designed to extend the school day in many ways, not with more school, but with enriching, engaging, exciting activities, and we're going to talk to you about that in a moment. That's this piece about we have exclusive partnerships with some really exciting enrichment vendors that we bring to students every day. We also look to support all of your students, those with various needs, special needs, disabilities. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. Recruiting the best staff we can from your community to work with these students is going to be a priority of ours. And then also, you'll find for those of you who aren't aware, something different than the way the school district funding works. In any type of child care, parents who qualify can receive subsidies for this care, so there is no cost to them, and we would become licensed to be able to collect those subsidies. So here we are. This shows you we are now working in about 22 states, over 600 schools in the country. We range from one very large district is Prince William County, Virginia, where they have 67 elementary schools. And they had asked us probably almost 10 years ago now to come in and run their programs, and we do. So that's a very large district. Other districts have one school, maybe two. So we are all over the map. We have about 97% renewal of our contracts. So in fact, our Frisco, Texas, which was our first district, is still with us today, 20 years later. So this one I'm going to cover quickly, but I will tell you this to me tells the story. This is why I came here 15 years ago. I was formerly with the National After School Association as the president and CEO there, and Alpha Best was just kind of budding. I came over and joined Alpha Best and decided that there were so many really fabulous enrichment style activities out there that could be brought into after school programs around the country that weren't, and I wanted Alpha Best to be that organization. So every one of these logos here represents some curriculum, some activity, group of activities that students do in our program every day. I'm going to point a couple of them out to give you an idea. So for example, ARC Kit there over to the right down in the second row, that is an architecture and design program. The founder actually is an architect in Ireland. We found him about 5 or 6 years ago. It took us a while through conversations. How could we modify this and bring this into an after-school environment with instructors who are not teachers, but are oftentimes college students or wannabe teachers, soon-to-be teachers, paraprofessionals, etc. So our kids are learning about architecture and design through this program, which is very exciting. Global Language Project up there, GLP, I love to talk about that one. That is our World Language and Culture program. So we expose all our students to Spanish, Mandarin, American Sign Language, and then a culture unit each year so that they learn a little bit more about kind of the global society. Letters Alive is a pre-K program. You're going to talk a little bit about pre-K, aren't you? So I won't go too much into that. But that's augmented reality where we support pre-Kers learning in their letters and sounds. And then I'll just point to probably Art in Action, one of our oldest relationships out of California. It's a nonprofit, and it was designed so that parents and volunteers and paraprofessionals could go into the schools and teach art, the works of the masters, to students in a very enriching, engaging way. So kids learn everything about Michelangelo, painting the Sistine Chapel, to street graffiti and everything in between. So that's a real fun program that our students love.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about the program design. As Judy mentioned, several examples of the type of enrichment curriculum we bring in, but we're really particular and we consider ourselves curators of the best that's out there that works well in the after-school time, with our goal being not to necessarily teach kids to be an architect, you know, in second grade, or teach kids to speak fluent Spanish or Mandarin, but instead to expand their horizons. And our real driving force is to develop a growth mindset with our students. And so we look for engineering units where kids are given a challenge, like how do you help us engineer the best Band-Aid ever? And they're practicing, and it's trial and error, and they're learning perseverance, and they're learning that if they keep at it, they can succeed. You don't have to be a natural Band-Aid engineer. You can learn. And that's kind of the concept that we look for in all of our curriculum units, is that you can learn to be excellent at anything you want to do, and we're giving them that playground to do so.
So what does this all look like? All those logos I showed you and what Dawn just talked about, this is what a full year of enrichment curriculum would look like. Now, we will talk very briefly about a daily schedule. This enrichment, for those of you who are thinking, well, do they get to go outside? Do they get to play? Do they get to have a snack? Yes, they do all of that. This is in about 50 minutes to an hour during a 3-hour day, 2.5-hour day after school. We usually run until 6 or 6:30 in the evening. So an hour of that time is this enrichment curriculum that rotates through in this way. So you'll see the quarters of the school year down the left side, days of the week across the top, and you'll see that we get all of that enrichment in there. Each one is about an 8 or 9 week unit. So all of the students get exposed to everything you saw, in addition to snack time, homework time, recreation clubs, etc.
So you can look at this daily schedule that is here and see that each site, so I am in Norman, and we allow in Norman each site to choose how they want to do their schedule. And that is because we had students who would leave early. So maybe they're teachers' kids and they come, and so when their parents get finished, they leave, and they were like, I don't want to go yet, Mom. I need to stay and do whatever our excursion was going to be for that day. And so some of our sites have moved those up to the very first thing that they do, and then they have snack afterwards. But so you can look at this. We always have a community circle, and community circle is where we do some of that social emotional learning. We use Second Step. Don't know if you guys use that here, if you're familiar with it, but we use Second Step in helping students learn to get along with each other, problem solve. How would you, ask a friend to play? All of those kinds of things are things that happen there. And it also sort of sets the tone for our day. So that community circle is where announcements are made or anything is given then that might be special happening that day. And then staff for success. I think that it is really important to have the right people in the right seat on the bus. And so we have an incredible recruitment team. The recruiter that works with us has been a former group leader. Then she was a site director, and then she became an area manager, and now she is a recruiter for us. And so she understands all of those roles and what it takes to be in one of those roles. We always like to pull from the school district if we can. If there's paraprofessionals or teachers who want to come in and work after school, we love that, because it is a continuation of the school day. All of those procedures and routines and all of those things are just carried seamlessly into AlphaBest. If we do not have one of a staff member there, we work very closely with the principal to understand what those structures are so that we can begin to implement those procedures and routines that are familiar to the students also in AlphaBest. So we recruit the best. We make sure that there's an area manager who is on site to help with us. In a smaller school district like this, we'd probably start with a site director who we would hope to grow into an area manager as we expand into other schools. And then we choose staff members who are quality, who are going to bring what AlphaBest promises to your school. And that is engaging, safe environment for everyone, and to be sure that those kids in all of this are having fun. And we also want to be very inclusive in what we do. We go through lots of training them, working alongside them to help site directors and group leaders understand the AlphaBest promise and what that means to bring to students every day. So, like I said, that training is safety first. So, and curiosity second. So we ratio to licensing. So I believe the licensing here is for 4-year-olds, it's 1 to 15. And for above 4-year-olds, it is, so 5 and above would be 1 to 17. And so we typically try to staff to that, or maybe a little less than even that, because student safety is of the utmost important to us. We also make sure that we're doing face to name, head counts every 30 minutes. We want to know the students' names. We want to know that they are with us, with the group leaders. So every 30 minutes, we're checking to see that they're there. We have emergency plans and drills. We typically follow the safety plans of the school district and of the school itself. We use doorbells for when parents come to pick up, they have to ring a doorbell. Someone goes to the door, they have to show their ID to pick up their kids. They have a certain PIN number that they use on an iPad to check kids in and out. So we're making sure that the right person is picking up the right child. And then I want to talk a little bit about communication with parents. So we have Parent Square. In Parent Square, there's an email message, a message that is sent every Monday that says, hey parents, this is what is happening this week in AlphaBest. These are the things your kids are going to learn. And then again on Friday, that is also sent, but this time it has, hey, we had a great week at AlphaBest. Here's some questions you can ask your kiddos about what happened in AlphaBest this week and what they learned. There's also a monthly parent newsletter that comes out to every parent from every site that says, this is what's happening. Sometimes they may be doing a special day or something like that. That newsletter is also shared with principals, so principals know what is happening at the school. There's on-site parent boards for any announcements, our licensing, information, all the important things go on there. And then we have a customer care team that is phenomenal. And so anytime you have a question, you're able to call the customer care team or email them, and they will get back to you very quickly with any question that you may have.
Thank you, Jill. Something I want to add, when Jill was talking about safety and parents picking up and having their own PIN or QR code to scan out, we have a student management system platform that we use, and parents can access it on an app and or online, web-based, and you can add your schedule, pay your bill, check your schedule, change your schedule, and also kind of a cool thing, especially for parents of the younger ones, you can look to see if your child has been checked into the program. So you're sitting there at 3 o'clock thinking, oh, did Billy remember to go to AlphaBest? And you can look and see that we have checked him in. So it's a really nice system. We talked a little bit in the beginning, Judy did, about inclusive practices, inclusive programs. We're really serious about that. We work with an organization called KIT, which stands for Kids Included Together. They're a San Diego-based inclusion specialist consulting and training organization for people who work with expanded learning programs and out-of-school time. The military is their biggest client. I think we're their second biggest client. The only national after-school company who uses them. They help us build our tiered system of supports. So we're doing everything we can to make sure every child is successful in the program. Our COO used to be their CEO, and we have an accommodations team. I think Jill wants to just touch on one example, and then I think we're close to wrapping up because I know we're out of time.
I think the inclusivity is a very important part of what we do. There are students with many diverse needs, and so being able to meet the needs of those students is really, really important. I am a former principal, and so I know some of the challenges that principals face with students in school and when they come to after school. Maybe those kids have held it together as long as they can, and then it's after school. And so we work with kids to help develop accommodation plans. And so I have a little friend in Norman who is an incredibly bright kiddo, but has had lots of behavioral challenges. And so we met with Kit. When he came to us, we recognized quickly we were going to have to get some support for this friend. So we met with Kit and we developed an accommodation plan for him. Well, that accommodation plan, as you know, sometimes works and then sometimes it has to be tweaked a little bit. So we went through the tweaking of this accommodation plan 3 different times for this kiddo. So we didn't give up after the first time. We didn't give up after the second time. I went to the IEP meeting at the school, partnered with the school and their teachers and the parents, and we came up with the third one. The last time that we met was just before Christmas, and we have not had a single behavior challenge with this kiddo since we met the final time and got the right plan in place. And so I think to say that we work really, really hard to be inclusive and to make sure that kids have what they need to be successful and the tools that they need to be successful. Fair and equal is not always the same thing, but we always want to give every child that equal opportunity to be successful in our program.
So that's it. It's a lot, I know, probably more than you ever wanted to know about after school, but we're pretty passionate about this. It's the only thing we do as a company before after school, summer camps, spring break, holiday camps, etc. And we're just excited to be having these conversations and to kick off a pilot here. So any questions we're open to, unless you want to move on.
Okay, school board members, do you have any questions?
Mr. McDaniel, before we move to questions, Mr. Martin, can you help them show, were you going to talk about the last slide, the price?
The rates one. Okay. Thank you. So we established rates that are very flexible. It used to be pre-COVID that everybody offered 5 days a week. Some companies also offered a 3-day-a-week plan. Post-COVID, with everybody's work schedule changing and being so much more flexible, our families have been asking, they started asking right away after that, can we do something a little bit more that works for us? So we do. So we give a lot of options for weekly rates. Families can go before school, before and after school gets a discount. We have pre-K rates here too. We do a lot of discounts, but to touch on that, in the big blue area, it says free reduced lunch qualified 20% to 100%. There's a pretty comprehensive sliding scale here in Arkansas that for families who qualify, and once they're qualified, and any of your families who are qualified now and maybe using off-site childcare would already know this. They would just need to change their certificate, their voucher to us. But we will accept vouchers on behalf of those families, and we'll work with the state to collect those fees for them. We will even help them if they don't know anything about this and they think they're going to qualify. We will point them in that direction so they know how to apply. We can set up somebody at the school building during open house to help them with their application. But yes, so we just want to, again, financially, there's an option for almost everybody.
Don, if you can share the work that your team and Dr. Walker and her team did on the pricing so that we could get the lowest cost per family or per child.
Yes, thank you for that. So we, very often, a school district will charge us a facility fee, want a share of the revenue, something along those lines. And I will say that your school district here has been very generous on that side and said, we just want the parent fees to be as affordable as possible. So Dr. Walker and I have gone back and forth several times. She's like, can you make it more affordable? Is there anything you can do? So we've kind of come up with every variation there is, and the subsidies. I mean, we've shared the subsidy rates with you as well. Yeah. Does that answer what you were? Yes. Okay.
Okay. Board members, do you have any questions?
I do, thank you. Oh, I'm not sure if this is a question for you or for the board, but for transportation-wise, before and after school, is it regular bus service, or are parents required to drop off and or pick up if they use one or both of the services?
That would be up to the parents and guardians before school and after school.
But the buses would be an option or do the buses stop running for aftercare?
The buses will continue with the regular schedule. So when school dismisses, the buses will run. As one of the ladies shared, the program would run until 6 p.m. or 6:30 p.m. So parents would be
Responsible for picking up.
responsible
Okay,
to pick up.
thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Now, is this, I got a question. Is this strictly at Bart Gray, Bobby G. Lester?
The pilot is. So we want to start small and work out any possible kinks or adjust before we expand to all of our elementary schools. And I'll tell you, the biggest question that we receive or inquiry that we receive are from our military families and a lot of our families at Lester who've asked about it. And so we wanted to start there to see how the program would progress for this year, and then if we have success, roll it out to the other elementary schools. Okay. And I'll tell you, by that time, if we receive a favorable approval, pre-K should be ready to move over to the Merle Taylor campus, and so we'll be able to have pre-K over there as well as the Merle Taylor site. And so hopefully when we scale up with the after-school and before-school program, the pre-K will be able to benefit from that as well.
Okay, are we going to vote on this, or is it something that we're going to look over?
It's an action item later, so it's really up to you and the board if you want to take action now, but it is listed under action items for your approval.
I move to approve. They had me at Legos.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No opposition, so we're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great
Very
presentation.
excited. We'll be seeing you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have an update from our GROW team at Merle Taylor. Mrs. Abby and all. No, there's a team, so they're coming.
My name is Clay Ramey, and I'm with Tempest Realty Partners, and so thank you for having us today. Going to give a quick update on GROW. I also have other GROW team members here from Tempest, as well as from the Clinton School, but really I'll get into that more, but this has been an effort across multiple institutions that we've had success over the last year. So GROW stands for Generational Resources Opportunities for Wellbeing. It's a funded savings program designed to really empower scholars, centered around the 529 College Savings Plan. And so we launched it. We've been working on this for a couple of years, and we launched it this past year at Merle Taylor. And it's seeded with 529 funds, and initially starts with $600 for every student, and $300 in additional incentives they can earn throughout the year. And so the ways they can earn these incentives include reading, attendance, behavioral, some financial education, and other engagement with the family. And so not only is this offered to the scholars, but also to the teachers too, just to get a total buy-in across school. Year one, one of the really unique aspects about Grow is it's an opt-out structure. And so working with some of our partners and the staff at Merle Taylor, we were able to have 100% participation in this, which is really, really exciting because all the students there, teachers, were able to participate in this without even having to go through stresses of additional paperwork, things like that. So this year we had 410 scholar accounts, 18 teacher accounts established. Throughout the year, we earned these scholars and teachers earned over $100,000 in incentives to their 529 accounts. And these 529 accounts can be used for a variety of reasons, both beyond just secondary education. That's really exciting. So total investment this year is $362,000. Here's some quick photos of the kids, the scholars at the campus. And one of the pieces, a part of the Grow is with working with the Clinton School to really research and gauge the data behind this. And so our team, the Clinton School, we also work with Brighter Futures and Economic Arkansas. I'll get to that more on the next slide, but we, in the first 9 weeks, almost 60% of scholars earned their financial incentives. And so that was real encouraging. And then just last week, we found out that 99% of the students earned their incentives. And so they all earned that extra $300 incentive to go into their account. So real exciting. We got some quotes from parents on there. We really try to reach out to parents to get them engaged, because part of this mission too is just literally having these scholars think about the future and where they're heading, because that really just sets them on the right path from today, tomorrow, next year, and the years down the road. Looking ahead in year two, continue to push this program forward. We're working on these students who were in 5th grade this year at Merle Taylor, as they go into 6th grade, ways that they can continue to earn that $300 incentive. We'll also have new kindergartners come in to Merle Taylor that will get that initial seed fund too of this year of $600. And so again, those kindergartners will have the initial $600, and then everybody in Merle Taylor, plus the ones that are moving on to 6th grade, will have the ability to earn their incentive credit to their accounts. And so one piece I left out is our ambassador at the school. And so we actually have an ambassador there to really help with students, with teachers, with parents, really promote and inform the students about Grow. And so with that, I'll just keep it short, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great program. Let's see, does anyone have any questions about this program? All right.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Okay, Dr. Ola.
Yes, next, board members and audience, we will have the Atlas presentation. We had scholars who received perfect writing scores, and so we wanted to recognize them tonight. So Mrs. Jamie Blacksingame is coming, and she will present it. Mrs. Blacksingame, as you will know, note that she is part of our curriculum instruction team at the district.
Hi guys, how are you all?
Oh.
So tonight, as the district testing coordinator, it is my honor to recognize 7 exceptional JMPC students who achieved a perfect score on the Arkansas Atlas Writing Assessment for this 25-26 school year. Earning a perfect score on a state assessment is a remarkable accomplishment that reflects outstanding writing skills, critical thinking, creativity, and dedication to academic excellence. These students have demonstrated mastery of the rigorous writing standards expected by the state of Arkansas, and their achievement is a testament to their hard work, the support of their families, and the commitment of their teachers. So please join me in congratulating these 7 scholars as we celebrate their accomplishments tonight. And I'm going to ask, because there's several administrators and teachers that came to support these students, I want to ask them to come up with them, if that's okay with you all. So first one is 5th grader from Bobby G. Lester Elementary, Tessa Dalton. fifth grader from Jacksonville Elementary, Amaya Means. Next one is eighth grader from Jacksonville Middle School, Nathan Tabata. Okay, next, last four are from Jacksonville High School, ninth grader Cameron Martinez. And Emily, ninth grader Emily, how do you say it?
Vorsak.
Warsack, thank you so much. 10th grader Serenity Murray. And last but not least, 10th grader Sarah Ward. Thank you, board. Do you want to take a picture with them?
Do we have them come to the middle?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, have y'all.
This way.
All the students.
Mr. McDaniel and board members, our next special presentation will come from the high school. Update on our academy pathway. Ms. Jennifer Jameson, our academy coach, will come present the update.
She gonna be limited to 3 minutes.
No, Mrs. Jameson.
So as always, thank you guys for allowing this time in this space to present information pertinent to the academy work. So we have realigned our academies and pathways to better align with the industry needs, post-secondary opportunities, and scholars' interests. What you see before you is the new alignment of academy pathways and the colleges and universities through which scholars may earn concurrent credit while enrolled in their particular pathway. We have the Service and Safety Academy, which has criminal justice, cybersecurity, and then junior ROTC. The Health and Finance Academy has banking, nutrition science, and healthcare services. The major change here is with the nutrition science pathway. This is a transition from the culinary pathway. While it may seem significant, a significant change, it will allow scholars to continue to develop culinary skills such as food prep, service, and restaurant management, while also allowing them to gain a deeper understanding of the science behind nutrition and food systems. This pathway expands learning opportunities while maintaining hands-on experiences through the management and service of Simply Delicious. The addition of the nutrition science pathway allows us to serve more scholars interested in culinary and food-related careers while providing a stronger academic foundation that supports a wider range of post-secondary and career opportunities. And then, of course, we have our Industry and Technical Academy, which houses welding, automotive service, and architecture and civil engineering. The next slide speaks to the academy experiences for the 2025-2026 school year. There were 54 unique academy-related events and activities designed to connect scholars with college, career, and workforce opportunities. A summary of participation is what you see in front of you. So while these numbers may seem large, yes, some of these are duplicate scholars, so this is the total amount of scholars that were a part of some of these activities. So 484 freshmen participated in multiple Freshman Academy career inspiration activities, college visits, and guest speakers. 1,677 scholars attended college and career readiness experiences, including college visits, information sessions, and preview days. We had 3 honor roll incentives and 2 Atlas incentives, where 1,101 scholars were were recognized and rewarded for their academic achievement and engagement. We had 804 scholars participate in guaranteed academy experiences, so those industry tours, job shadowing opportunities, and internships. And then we had 254 parents come out for multiple parent nights associated with academy and CTE-related activities. These experiences continue to support our commitment to preparing scholars for enrollment, enlistment, and employment by providing meaningful resources, meaningful exposure to post-secondary and workforce opportunities. This slide is a culmination of all the work that happens in our career and technical education courses. These, which we have seen increases across all major performance indicators. This year we had 150 CTE completers. These scholars completed 3 levels of a CTE pathway. This represents a 5% increase from last year. We had 154 CTE concentrators. These scholars completed at least 2 levels in a particular pathway, reflecting a 7% increase. We had 67 fine arts completers. While this is not a CTE portion, we do look at that because fine arts is a major part of our school. And so that represents a 168% increase in completers. So we only had like 25 last year, and so that extra art teacher, thank you. And then of course we had 220 scholars attain industry certifications. So we're talking about 220 scholars walking the way with career industry certifications. That is a 17% increase from the class of 2025. So again, these results demonstrate that Jacksonville High School's continued commitment to preparing scholars with the academic knowledge, technical skills, and industry credentials necessary for success in college, careers, and the workforce. And then the last slide speaks to what our current class of 2026 did this year. So with a 95% of our scholars completing our post-graduation survey, and there is an error on here, so I promise I know how to add it. But so we had 63% plan to enroll in college, university, or trade school. That military percentage should be 11%. So 11% plan to enlist or already have enlisted in the military, and then 26% plan to enter the workforce through full-time employment. These results reflect the impact that the academy model has in helping scholars explore career interests, develop post-secondary plans, and graduate prepared for enrollment, enlistment, and employment. Through intentional career pathways, work-based learning experiences, and college and career readiness initiatives, Jacksonville High School continues to equip scholars with the knowledge, skills, and confidence needed for success beyond graduation. And I appreciate you all for the opportunity for me to do this work. Can I entertain any questions?
Any questions, Ms. Dennison?
I do have a comment. And of course, I just want to say my child is a part of the Welding Academy, and my mailbox is filled with all type of job offers for him in different certifications that he can continue to get. So I am very appreciative to what you guys have done. So thank you so much.
Thank you. No problem. We love it. I love the work that we do. I'm appreciative that we get to do this work.
All right, any other questions? If there are no other questions, you met the 3-minute limit.
Our last special presentation, but one of the most important ones, is our Atlas summative data for this school year. Of course, our young people just completed the state assessment, and so Dr. Picard, Amanda Picard, is coming to give you an update.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I had the privilege of presenting our Atlas scores. What I'm going to present to you right now is our raw data. which means it's had no rules applied to it. Whenever we go to figure things like school report cards, things like that, they apply all kinds of rules to our data, like highly mobile, English learners, things like that. But what you're seeing are just the actual numbers with none of that applied to it. So before I begin, I want to start out by kind of describing what you're seeing on the slides. All I've done is taken a screenshot of the actual Atlas portal of where the data comes from. What we're wanting to see is our orange go down. That's the easiest way to look at it. Orange means they are below grade level. And so we want those numbers to go down. And if those numbers go down, then everything in green and blue has to go up to make the 100%. And so that's what we're looking for on the slides. What you'll see on these slides is a snapshot of how we started the year last year, or this year, versus a snapshot of what we'll be starting the year with next year. This slide right here is the whole district overview of every scholar that took a test or in the course test in our district. So this is the largest view you can see. In our Atlas summative ELA data, we went from 45% that were in need of support to this year, going into next year, we have 35% of need of support. So that's about 300 scholars that we moved out of in need of support. And so that's excellent, an excellent way to start the next school year, is being better than we were this school year. For math, we had 57% in need of support when we started this school year, and next year we have 51% in need of support, which means we moved about 200 scholars out of in need of support. And then for science, the growth was not as much, however, we still made growth. We went from 48% to 44%, and so we're still trending in the right direction. Science is an area that we know we need to work on. You guys just approved our adoption for next year. We have all new curriculum next year. Science was our last area since we became a district to get new curriculum. And so that will start next year for them, and that will be our curriculum focus for coaching and things like that next year. So to break this down a little bit, we're just going to go through the grade bands. So this is our K2 data. K2 data we are very, very proud of because we had the most gains in K2. It's been a heavy focus for us because of the Read by 3 law, and we know that we want them on grade level by 3rd grade. So when we started this year, we had 45% of our kiddos that were in need of support. When we start next year, we have 22% of our scholars in need of support, and that's about 250 kids that moved out of in needs of support for K2 in ELA. The bottom row is math, and we had 40%, we went down to 33%. The percentages they do not seem as much until you look at the numbers below them, and it's the actual numbers of scholars that moved. So 410 scholars were in need of support, and next year we're starting with 298 in need of support for math. And math is where we have a heavy focus right now. It had a later start than ELA. We adopted ELA first, a new curriculum, and so now we're going through the same plan that we did for ELA for math. So K2 is trending in the right direction. As far as 3-5 goes, you can look up there and see every area we made growth. In 3-5, they start also testing science. They don't in K2. You can see in ELA, we went from 44% to 37%. In math, 54% to 46%. And in science, 44% to 40%. So all still trending the way that we want it to be trending. This is our 6th, 8th grade band. And for ELA, we went from 51% to 45%. Math, 66% to 58%. And science, 55% to 51%. So every content area trending in the right direction. And then we have 9, 10, because in 11th and 12th they start taking ACT and things like that. But 9th, 10th is still into the course. ELA went from 38% to 36%. Math from 79% to 74%, and science stayed the same. And that is in 9th and 10th grade, the only thing that's tested is biology. And so we know we don't want the same, we want better. And so that will be a focus for us next year in biology, and it will have a new curriculum next year that we just adopted. So that's our scores overall, and then by the different grade bands, there'll be more as we get digging into the data, but that's just the overview. But the overview tells us that every area is growing. We're starting next year better than we started this year in every area and every content. So to answer some burning questions, I know there's a couple burning questions out there. School letter grades, and can we predict them? We can't. There's two reasons why we can't predict them. So far, the official growth calculation hasn't been released from the state. The state has to apply it. And the school letter grade is also based on growth. And so we don't know that piece of the data yet. Secretary Oliva said this morning at the school law conference that he expects those to start coming out over the next few months. And then the other piece that we don't have yet are the rules applied to our data. We're moving some of the pieces that will not be counted into the data. We expect school letter grades, or at least to be able to make predictions for them in about September. And so that's what we're looking at right now for when those will be released. The next burning question is third grade. How many retentions are we looking at? What does the data tell us? Well, this is a screenshot on the left of our third grade data, and we had 131 students score level 1, and that's the students that would be up for retention. If you look across at the descriptors, the level 1 totals by school of third graders that would be up for retention or across there. At Bobby G, it was 24. Iamita 16, JES 67, and Merle Taylor 24. However, in the law, there is a good cause exemption, and if they have good cause, which is listed in the purple, then they might not be retained. They're probably not going to be retained for one of those reasons. It could be a significant cognitive disability. It could be that they're an English learner. It could be a student with a disability, students that were previously retained in K1 or 2, ones that are already receiving intensive support, or an isolated traumatic event like homelessness, a house fire the day of the test. So those are good causes that a child would not be retained for. If you look through the initial number, just kind of telling you how to read this chart, Bobby G had 24 level 1s. 20 of those scholars had good cause exemptions, so we're looking at 4 retentions at Bobby G. Lester. And so that's how you read that data. One of the things that's not final numbers in blue right now, because as soon as they scored a level 1, they got started on high impact tutoring in each of our schools through a company called Booknook. And they designed an intensive tutoring plan for every scholar that scored a level 1. And parents were given this opportunity, and most of them took the opportunity for the tutoring. And so we are in the process of retesting. They get a retest window. It's from now to June 3rd. And so they're retesting now, and if they score above a level 1, they're back off the retention list. So we will know after June 3rd what our real blue numbers are. However, we just looked at some data this afternoon whenever I came in from the conference, and JES has data starting to trickle in, because they have to have 2 different tests to make the score, a reading test and a writing test. And of the handful of scholars that we looked at, 9 of them had scored level 2. So we know 9 of those are out of our number, but we don't have any other scores yet. The schools are in the process of retesting. So we do know that this is very manageable. And so in the blue box is what we need to do now for those scholars for next year. However, all of it's already in place. We did it this year. And so in saying that, I'll end with some celebrations, and then I'll answer any questions that you have. This year we started the year with 153 scholars in level 1 in grade 3. And our Guiding Coalition tracked every scholar by name with dots on a chart in a war room, with interventions in place and keeping track of those scholars. Next year, from our scholars in grade 2, we're starting with 81. And so that's half of what we started with this year to be on the retention list, which is great news. It was a big push for us to get that number down to where it was manageable and we could do more interventions. We had 7 perfect writing scores, so we're starting to see things that we haven't seen before, and you guys got to see those scholars tonight. We had 34 scholars score level 4 in all tested areas. So that's something else that we haven't seen a lot of, and we're starting to see those things pop up. We had 5 scholars this year get the Seal of Literacy, 4 in Spanish and 1 in Russian. At the Skills USA competition, we did something new this year. We used title money, and we paid student organization dues for our scholars and competition dues for our scholars, so that we could get them out there to see how their competition is against other districts. But in the cybersecurity state competition, our team, Tyler Flincham and Brianna Tripp, they took first place, and they were the only team with a perfect score. And at ASU BB in the architectural drafting competition, we took first and second place. Lauren Wilson and Christopher Zarad. And I'm a little competitive, if you can tell. So with that, I'll take any questions that you have about our data, and we'll keep presenting it as we get more and more information and rules apply to it.
Anyone have any questions for Dr. Picard? Thank you very much.
Mr. McDaniel, that concludes the special presentations.
Okay, I think we're up to the facilities report. Baldwin and Michelle.
Mr. Hansberry.
Mr. Hansberry. He has an associate with him.
WER team.
Good evening, Mr. McDaniel, Dr. Owa, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I'm Michael Hansberry. I have with me Aaron Sanderson with WER Architects, long-standing partner with us on the projects, and Sydney Brown, project estimator for us on these projects. And so what we're presenting today is really just an update on where we are, where we're headed on the Merle Taylor conversion projects, specifically the pre-K conversion project.
Slides that we can pull up.
Yeah.
Dr. Arwood, do you want to connect? They said they sent it to you.
Supposed to be an active.
Oh, is it? So, yeah, it is an action item. I'll pull it up. It's farther down.
Number 14.
Right here? You want to
Second
start right
page. Second page.
Second page.
Yes, sir.
This way.
All right. I don't know if everybody can see that. So essentially, what we want to report on this afternoon or this evening is just an update on the budget summary recap. We're on the second phase of design on this project, and the second phase of pricing. We're excited today to be able to come to you and show you where we've worked as a team along with the Jacksonville North Pulaski staff on figuring out ways to bring the project within budget. As you'll see, as we summarize towards the bottom of the page are some of our previous estimates. We started this process fall of 2025, and we were around that $8 million range. Through some conversation with the design team and with you all, we were able to whittle that down to below $8 million. Then we were able to creep into the $6 million range for this project. And so at the second phase of design and pricing, we're happy to report that we were right there at the budget at $6,010,417. And so Aaron will give us an update on drawings here shortly. But essentially what we are, the drawings have been submitted to the State Department of Education. At this point, we're waiting. We should receive those any day now. As soon as we receive approval from the Department of Ed, then we will begin the bidding process, where we'll advertise throughout the state, and we will put together a final estimate and bring to you a GMP.
Are there any slides below this?
Microphone.
So, if you're not familiar with the site, the way this is oriented is just to the east, within eyeshot of this, is the new elementary school that we worked on. There in the white, you can kind of see the ArcAir clinic that Jacksonville partnered with. That's just hit its year mark of opening. So the Buell Taylor CTE building, the welding career tech building, is just to the south. So with this project, we really wanted to focus on the parking of this area. So we tried not to change too much in the way of the site, but Jacksonville is able to remove 2 or 3 portable units, sort of where the green shaded area is shown, which really establishes a new entryway for the pre-K. The loop stays the same. We've added in some parallel spots into that loop so you can have a continuous drive and flow through the site. We'll keep people moving through there, but you can also utilize those parallel spaces. Just to the west of that pre-K sign, you'll see a new entry that we've built in for the kitchen equipment, the deliveries, and that's so it'll stay out of the way of parents and that sort of traffic flow. So I think at the end of the day, you've got 41 new parking spaces, and you can probably see in Mr. Hansberry's estimate, there's a little alternate there to pave those spaces, but right now we're showing those as added gravel spaces for now. So we can move into the floor plan a little bit. And so here you can see the classrooms. You have 12 new classrooms, and if we look to the top of the page, you can see that new entry vestibule that we're sort of carving out of the interior of that dining room area. And here's where the kids and parents are able to come into the building. They'll check in. Jacksonville staff will be right there at a sort of a transaction service window, which is an added layer of security that we're designing for. Like I said, there's 12 new classrooms. You get a new kitchen that's sized much in the same way as your elementary schools. So they'll have a brand new cooler and freezer, and it's all set up to be fully renovated, which Jacksonville's able to use some of their existing equipment to help bolster some money for some other things like finishes. And really, this is a pre-K, so we wanted to make it fun. You can kind of see the LVT and CPT notes floating on the page there. So that's carpet and luxury vinyl tile
which we are planning as finishes, paint throughout the whole building to sort of brighten up the spaces a lot. And the next page has a little bit more of sort of what we're throwing out there. So the 3 and the 2, you can kind of, if you remember walking through by me and Taylor, those large letters, I think, are something that we would like to incorporate here, as well as some fun paint schemes for the kids and staff there. Since it's pre-K, we wanted to add in some more color ideas. So you'll see the little classroom interior paint idea has a wainscot, which will kind of accent the space. And to the right there, you'll see the typical classroom plans. And these are set up a lot like JES in that you'll have a small toilet there and an accessible restroom for the kids. Also, in every classroom, there'll be a new bank of casework with a hand washing sink and some cubbies. The furniture is just an idea of what you could do, but you can see how it kind of incorporates the carpet and the LVP luxury vinyl tile flooring into the schemes.
Are there any questions regarding the estimate or design?
And board members, there is an action item
Yes.
further in.
Yes, item number 14. Are there any questions about the,
I spoke with Michael before, but the estimated opening would be fall of 27, is that
Fall
correct?
2027 for pre-K.
For the pre-K, the CTE would be,
CTE right now, we're tracking, we're about to bid that project next week. I think we had a walkthrough over there today. We're tracking to finish that over the holiday this year, so it should open spring 2027.
spring 2027?
yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions? If there are any, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're up to public comment, and I'll read this statement, and I'm going to have to apologize to Mrs. Robinson. We won't be taking a photo afterwards. We'll take the book that's been presented, we'll take a look at it, and then we'll make a decision on taking a photo later. I made a decision without talking to my fellow board members. Okay. Good evening, everyone. We now open the floor for public comments. This is a designated time for community members to share their thoughts on matters before the board. We welcome and appreciate your input and ask that you speak respectfully and professionally. Please refrain from making statements about individual students or district staff members, as the board only considers such matters upon recommendation from the superintendent. Your comments will be recorded in the all official minutes. While we value your perspective, please note that the opinions shared during public comment do not necessarily reflect the views of the board. And with that, I'll ask Ms. Christiane St. Clair to come forward.
Thank you. As you all know, I'm from the Jacksonville North Pulaski School District Parent Action Coalition. As he stated, we're going to go ahead and present our hard copy. This book is a framework, technically, that was formed after we asked the board in April, what is the clearly defined operational system that this board believes produces student success, and where is that system documented so parents can understand it? We got a response and sent it out for an individual analysis, and now, Ms. Robinson, if you want to go ahead and give that to President McDaniel. We wanted to provide a hard copy, but it is still completely free and available on our website in PDF form. And then the only other thing was I had a secondary question. What is currently the primary constraint limiting student achievement in this district, and what measurable evidence is there of that constraint? And we look forward to your answer.
All right, thank you. Okay, we'll review the book, and then we'll get back with you with comments. Thank you. Okay, legal update is that something that we gonna do later?
We can, Mr. Richardson is not here. We did have an update with the agreement with Dr. Jones that the board would need to approve for us to move forward with it through the negotiation with our attorney, Mr. Richardson, and Dr. Jones, Bashana Jones' attorney, so that we didn't have to continue to move forward with a series of court appearances. We did negotiate down to $7,500, and so we wanted to present that to the board for approval so that we can bring this situation to a close.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Got a motion? Get a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Nay? All right, it passes. All right, we're up to district reports now.
Yes, so a lot of changes that has taken place. As you can see, great changes, positive changes. So I just, you heard a lot, so I just want to just publicly say how much I appreciate our scholars, our staff, and our leaders, as well as our partners and our community leaders for their support of our young people and our staff this year. Progress is being made, and but it's an effort, a collaborative effort with all of our partners. So we're looking forward to next year as we prepare to receive our scholars and staff back in the classrooms. But thank you, board, for your support each and every month, but also definitely wanted to recognize our leaders, educators, families, and scholars as well. That concludes my report.
Okay, do we have any PPC reports? Okay, if we don't, can I get an entertain a motion to that next? Oh, that's next. Okay, consent agenda. Has everybody had a chance to read over the minutes of the consent agenda and the assistant superintendent's report and financial report? If so, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
All right, got a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, consent agenda passes. The alphabet best education, that's already been presented. Number 7, we're up to 26 to 27 school board meeting dates.
Mr. McDaniel and board members, before you, Mrs. Lee has provided a proposed school board meeting scheduled for the next school year, 26-27. And so we submit that for your review and approval for tonight.
Okay.
Is it in what?
It's in your package.
Yeah, 57. Thank you.
We did try to account for all of the holidays. So in July, Labor Day in September, you'll see an adjustment on those days.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, the school board meeting dates are approved for 26-27. All right, next up is administrative leave, suspension without pay policy.
Yes, board members, this board policy, proposed board policies were presented to you last month. After your review then, we shared it with the classified personnel policy committee as well as the licensed personnel policy committee for their review. They did provide some feedback. Before you now is the policy for your review and approval.
With the feedback from PPC.
Right. Well, they provided feedback and then we provided the reason for the way it's formatted. Administrative leave with pay would be different from suspension without pay. And so we shared that information with them, and that's the reason why. Some of the comments was why didn't the written notice, the elements of the written notice, why did they differ from suspension without pay and then administrative leave with pay, without pay? And we shared with them administrative leave with pay is for a general reason. That's before the investigation when we have the suspension without pay, that's after the investigation, and we can be more detailed on the rationale or the reason for that response. And so we were able to share that information with them.
Okay.
I move to adopt the policy.
Got a motion and a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It passes unanimously. Okay, we are up to vendor renewals, and the first one is Don Wholesale. Yeah, ask you to be excused, please. Okay, if you would look over the program, and Dr. Orr, you want to comment?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. McDaniel. Board members, these are not new contracts. These are all renewable contracts that we already have with our child nutrition program. So you have four, one with Don Wholesale, the bread service that we have been using. And you also will have a resolution following this since we've had a board member to have a vested interest in that. I'll also will add that the Commissioner, Secretary of Ed, Mr. Oliva, has granted us a 2-year approval, and so it covered this year and next year for Don Wholesale. So we won't have to submit that again to him after your approval tonight. Also for our milk vendor, Highland Dairy, it's before you again, renewable contract. Also Archford Co-op contract for purchasing services through next year, and then AutoChlor for our chemical vendor, so that of course we can sanitize the area for child nutrition, the kitchen, and all of that, those areas. And so those are the recommended renewal contracts before you, and I definitely recommend approval for that.
All right. Okay, and do I get a motion for that?
Motion to accept the vendor renewals representation.
Second?
Second.
Oh, that's not me. That could be somebody else.
Excuse me.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, the renewals pass unanimously. All right, we're up to resolutions, and let's see. Have to, yeah, she can come back in, please.
She said to leave the resolution too.
See what?
Yeah, leave the resolution too.
That's right, we got another one here too. All right, so I'm going to ask you two folks to leave, please. Do we still have a quorum? Yes, okay.
1, 2, 3,
All right.
4.
All right, we're for resolutions, Don Wholesale, Jam Fabrication, Get a Grip, WR Forest, and Whit Davis Lumber. And Dr. Orr, you want to comment?
Yes, sir. These are not new resolutions. The only change, and I met with Mrs. Tony after we printed the agenda, but with Davis Lumber, she no longer has a vested interest in there, and so that will be removed moving forward, and so we would just need to vote on the existing renewal of the resolution for Don Wholesale Company, Jam Fabrication, Get a Grip, and then WR Forest.
Okay.
And we can still use Whit Davis as a vendor, we just don't need a resolution.
Yeah. Right. Yes, we can still use Whit Davis, but we don't have to have approval for that.
All right. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the resolutions as presented.
Second.
Second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously. No nays. All right, we would bring the other folks back in, please. They didn't leave, did they? Okay, we're up to community eligibility provision, item number 12. You want to comment on that, Dr. Orr?
As board members and audience, before you have the community eligibility provision proposal. This provision provides schools that participate in the National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program the ability to serve all of our scholars free lunch and breakfast for the next 4 consecutive school years.
Wow.
It's based on our numbers. As you will know, our district currently qualifies under the guidelines to be able to feed 92% of the students at the free rate and 8% at the full rate. So Title I funding is not affected by implementing this program. Our E-rate should go up from 74% to 92%. And so we're definitely pleased and grateful to be able to serve all of our students breakfast and lunch at no charge to them or their families. And so the recommendation is to approve this participation in the CEP program for the next 4 years.
All right, you got a recommendation? Anyone have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second. All right, motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those with nay, we have no nays, it's unanimous. Okay, we're up to number 13, approval to pay benefits.
Yes, this has definitely been vetted, but before you, Mr. Hunt, our Director of Finance wanted to get your approval to move to paying our employment benefits, our health insurance through ACH starting July 1st. It is in legislation, and then of course we have all of our official documentation to show that this is a legitimate path for payment for the health insurance for our employees district-wide. And so again, it will start July 1st, no additional cost. And the recommendation is to approve this ACH as the payment method for EBD starting July 1st, 2026 and onward.
Okay, we've got a recommendation by the superintendent. Any motion?
So moved. Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously. Okay, we are up to a remove of 2013. We already did number 14, so number 15 is where we are now.
Yes, sir. Before you, you have the action item to remove a 2013 Chevrolet Express van from inventory. This van was totaled in an accident earlier, and so as per law, we needed to get the school board permission to remove it from our inventory.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? No nays. Passes unanimously. Okay, remove buses from inventory. There's some others here.
Yes, all buses on the district inventory are subject to state inspection. Buses that don't pass the inspection must be repaired. These buses have blown engines and have been used for parts. And so the recommendation is to approve the removal of the buses based on the VIN number that's provided for you moving forward.
Are we going to still use them as scrap parts, or do we just have to get rid of them?
Yes, just as parts.
Okay. All right, got a recommendation by the superintendent. Got a motion.
So moved. Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, passes unanimously. 2026-27 handbook revisions.
Yes, sir. The handbook committee led by Dr. Jacob Smith have proposed the following changes for the 26-27 school year as we make campus safety, operational clarity, and balanced progressive discipline priorities, continue to make those priorities in the district as we move forward. So the revisions were to eliminate operational variances throughout the district, and so the recommendation is for your review and approval.
Move to approve.
A motion, a second. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And nay, any nays? Okay, passes unanimously. Okay, we're up to student disciplinary actions.
Yes, sir. You all have 3 uncontested disciplinary packets in your board packet.
June 1.
All uncontested?
All uncontested.
Move to approve.
So I got a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, passes unanimously, no nays. All right, we're up to personnel, and we will probably...
Move to add the addendum.
Addendum, right. I apologize.
Second.
Got a motion to approve, to add this addendum, and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, the addendum is approved, and we will go into executive session now. All right.
President McDaniel, I learned at the law conference today that the superintendent has to be invited to the executive session, so I don't know if you all would like to.
We would like to invite you to the executive session.
Standing invitation.
Okay, we are almost back in from executive session. Okay, we are back in from executive session, and we're up to personnel. Do I have a motion on personnel consideration?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the early retirement separation agreement for Assistant Superintendent Dr. Janice Walker.
I got a motion, got a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? All right.
I'd like to make a motion to reassign as interim for the 26-27 school year Dr. Amanda Picard as Assistant Superintendent. Contract pay will align with the 26-27 license salary schedule.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Passes unanimously.
I'd like to make a motion to reassign as interim for the 26-27 school year Dr. Brandy Howell as Director of Instructional Leadership. Contract pay will align with the high school principal administrative index for the 26-27 salary schedule for this position.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Passes unanimously.
I'd like to make a motion to reassign as interim for the 26-27 school year Ms. Jennifer Spriggs as principal of Merle Taylor Elementary. Contract pay will align with the 26-27 license and salary schedule.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? It passes unanimously.
I'd like to make a motion to reassign as interim for the 26-27 school year Ms. Jocelyn Taylor as assistant principal of Merle Taylor Elementary. Contract pay will align with the 26-27 license salary schedule.
I second that.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Passes unanimously. Okay, now we're up to the regular personnel listing. We have a motion to approve the addendum and the
So moved.
got a second?
Second.
Second. I got a motion and a second to approve all the personnel actions. Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right. We are approved and good to go. I guess we're up to now board comments. Does anyone have any board comments they would like to make? I think we had a great year, as presented earlier at the presentation, so I'm very optimistic about next year. Dr. Orr, do you have some comments?
Yes, I just want to take this time in conjunction with our board members to publicly say, Dr. Walker, thank you for your service to Jacksonville North Pulaski School District. You were here as we transitioned from Pulaski County to the new district as a principal. Then you served when I had the opportunity to come back as superintendent, as my assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction. So you've touched so many lives here in Jacksonville, and so many, not just students, but adults as well. And so I want us to be able to give you your flowers before you leave and say thank you for your service to our community, but more specifically to the field of education, because you definitely left an impact. And I know this is not your resting place, and we can see and expect greater things from you. So thank you for all that you've done for us, and we appreciate you.
All right, we're up to that.
Move to adjourn, sir.
All right, we are adjourned.